All right. So we're back to do another movie, thinking that we know better than the directors.
Well, we just have a theory of how
Yeah,
the
yeah,
ending
yeah.
would have been way more kick-ass.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, yeah. But, well, armchair directors here. But, I'm Silent Storm, or Aiden, and I'm with...
Pirate Girl!
Yep. And so we're going to be talking about There's Somebody Inside Your House, which is a Netflix original.
Awesome film.
And if you have the director.
Yeah,
right?
directed by Patrick Bryce. Writers were Henry Gayden, and based on a novel by Stephanie Perkins. And I just love novel adaptations.
I do want to get the
film.
novel.
Me too. However, what really caught our attention about this film was one of the producers. One of the producers was actually the wonderful James Wan.
Fucking love James Wan.
Me too. And so that's what really caught our attention and made us want to watch this one. But just a little synopsis before we get started. The graduating class of Osborne High. And Osborne is supposed to be the little tiny rinky-dink town in middle America. Are being targeted by a masked assailant intent on exposing everyone's darkest secrets of each victim, and only a group of misfit outsiders can stop the killings. And it really follows a main character, Makani. And Makani is from Hawaii and has a really kind of vague backstory, which you see through flashes. She's from Hawaii. She came here to live with her grandmother for a fresh start. Something happened in her past, and that's why she is here. But quickly makes friends with a group, a very, very diverse group, which we really appreciated.
Extremely diverse group. I really like the way they did it. Everybody, and all of the problems and issues they bring up that each member has, they feel realistic. Like,
yes,
I've had friends that have gone through this shit. Everybody has had somebody in their life that's gone through at least, I'd say probably 3 or 4 of the things that are happening in the film. And, not the murders, of course, but the, just like...
The secrets.
Yeah, the secret problems you have.
And I guess that
spoilers ahead, of course.
Yes. One of my issues from the very start of this film were these supposed secrets. Now, some of them were atrocious and awful, and of course you would want them exposed. But some of the characters' secrets, to me, were just, I don't want to say not a big deal, but I guess I didn't feel they were as taboo as the film. But
not a cause for death.
Right. Exactly. Now, or are we thinking that because this is a little small conservative American town, that these would be big issues to the killer?
Yeah, that could be it. Yeah, and this again gets into the point of once we get to who the killer actually is. Some of the kills, I kind of think it's like why would you do that?
And I know it was Netflix, and I appreciate that, and that it was, probably targeted at a teenage audience. Yeah. However, I felt like the film was always on the edge of greatness because they were going to really tackle real life issues. Being gay in a small town, being artistic and creative in a small town and not being appreciated, racism in a small town. Yeah. But they'd go right to the edge as to where not to say. Some of the football players they alluded to may have been gay, but they wouldn't go there. They wouldn't cross that line and really push it and say, yeah, he was gay and this is why the killer thought he needed to die, or he was beat up, or, and I felt like it would have almost been better if it was more in your face. Like, okay, they have a kid taking fentanyl. That's his big secret. He's addicted to fentanyl pills. But they only show a little bit of that and not the true kind of...
I did also like, on an opposite side of it, they do show a lot of camaraderie between the townsfolk. Like, more of the close-knit friends, them coming together. And almost there is a very nice moment later on in the film where they're telling their secrets to each other, and 2 of them do realize that, well, one realized her biggest secret was that she loved somebody in their friend group. The other guy was interested, but his secret gets revealed later to be something that we think is pretty minor. But...
Right, and that I thought... Okay, so before we get into that, so Makani's in this new area, and all of a sudden these murders start happening, and they jump right into it. Like Silent Storm said, it is... they jump right into it with a football player. So he's murdered. Town's on edge. Makani's grandmother doesn't want her going out, but she does anyway because grandma's sick and, she's going to go out. And Zach's having parties, right?
Yes.
Zach, yeah. So, you got teenagers doing teenager things. They're still going out. They're still hanging out. They're still doing parties, even though, it's a very Scream-esque type deal. we're not going to stop having fun even though there's a killer. But so McConaughey's character, very interesting. I thought through the whole film that she may have actually been the killer, because
me too.
There's these weird flashes that she's having where there's a fire and people screaming. She's looks disheveled, like she's been there through something. She's got bitch written across her head. We don't know what's going on, but it's pretty apparent. It looks like some kind of hazing type thing.
Along with that, her secret, she has two, the first is, of course, what happened that night at that fire, but also that she has been seeing off and on this
renegade, a loner student, Ollie, which I love.
Yeah,
Ollie.
And he's a great character. Whoever the actor, I think I can look right now. Ollie was
Theodore Pellerin.
Yeah, Pellerin. Great actor.
Yes.
And he did such a good job of just feeling like that friend where it's everybody just immediately when something goes wrong just goes, it had to be him, it had to be him, it had to be him.
He was the red herring, and it was like Ollie did this.
We both called it that. We were like, we don't think he's the killer.
Easy.
And if he is, somebody's making him do it, or he's doing it because he loves somebody enough.
There was and another really great thing to appreciate about this film. Great dialogue scenes.
Oh, yes. Amazing
there were
writing.
So many great moments between the friends, between Ollie and McConaughey and her grandmother. There was so many great dialogue, realistic conversations. But there's a wonderful scene where Ollie takes McConaughey, kind of to get away from all the madness after people have now been dying, to the cornfield. And they go out and they're talking, and there's a really vague conversation that they have that almost kind of turned the wheels in my head that, oh my God, it's them. It's the two of them. They're doing this. Because he tells her at one point, no one knows you like I do. And, I get you. I understand you. And it almost made a very good dynamic.
I got excited because I thought, oh my God, like because I kept thinking, this is like maybe she wants to pin it on him. Maybe they're both in it together and she's scared. Maybe he's the one that's scared. Who knows? Maybe she forced him. With the gears start turning, you start getting excited. But before that, let's actually talk about this movie has some great kills.
Oh, awesome kills.
And the first one.
And good practical effects.
Oh, yeah. It's James
I know.
Wan helped.
We love practical effects. I mean, nowadays practical effects are being used a little more than about 10 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
But the bringing back of all the practical effects are just so awesome to me, and they spared no expense. I mean, there's blood, there's brain matter, there's gore, there's slashing and dicing and blunt force trauma.
It's amazing.
It's a great gore factor.
The first kill is a football player. Like we were talking about, he goes back home. He's late for the game because his alarm doesn't go off. And he sees all these pictures around the house of him beating up a person. They did discuss that the person he beat up was a gay football player. But at the time, because this is the opening of the movie, you don't know.
Yeah,
there's just all these pictures, and he's just shirtless beating another
And again,
person.
Here's what I was talking about, where the film goes straight to the line. The whole idea that the killer picked this individual was because he's gay, and he
lied about it.
He's covering it.
The killer only, if you actually tell your secret, the killer doesn't hurt you. If you hide your secret or you lie about it and tell a smaller one, that's when he gets you.
So the point of that was he was selected as a victim because he was a gay man living closeted and then beat up another gay teammate. Yeah. And that's what spawned that killing.
And it was a brutal beating, but the
next killing was my favorite.
But well, first I do want to say that football player, when he gets, I can't remember his name, but when he gets into his closet, he has a golf club, and he's trying to figure out who's in there. And you kind of get a little callback to if you've ever seen the original Pet Sematary, and you just a knife slides out from under and cuts his
on that little
Achilles heel.
Yeah.
And both of them, which is amazing because my main thing is I was like I can deal with gore, but it's the small things to get to me, and that was rough to watch, but it was good. And of course, it's freaky as hell because then you realize because the killer is looking down at this player and
with his face.
Yeah, and he's like, what the hell?
Yeah,
like, he
total confusion.
almost forgets that he just got stabbed because he's sitting there looking up at his own face, like, what the hell is going on?
Another reason I give props. This is what we've talked about a lot lately between you and I. That there's so few original ideas now.
Oh yeah,
and this was actually an original. Like, oh my god, he's not just a masked killer. He's creating masks of the victims' faces and making you face your inner secrets,
yes.
Which, again, kudos to the team. That was a great, great thing. Now, the next kill was my ultimate favorite because I don't know if she was on the cheerleading team, but she was President of everything.
She was the
peppy,
the school the student council president.
Yeah, straight A's, super uber perfect preppy. Everyone signed my yearbook. Kind of annoying character.
There is a character,
a Christian, big Christian.
We do need to bring up. There is a character named Darby, and before this she is the. Let's find her actual name. She was Stacy. Stacy's gets up in the middle of the cafeteria.
Oh wait, go back. I think we got it wrong.
Did we get it wrong?
Yeah, I think it was
maybe Katie. I think it may have been Katie actually.
So yeah. It's Katie.
But so Katie she gets up in the cafeteria, stands up on the cafeteria table.
Oh, I forgot.
And tells everybody, just goes, Darby, and Darby is, if I'm remembering correctly, I believe non-binary.
Yes. Or
gender
neutral.
Yeah,
character.
And she gets up and does this whole long spiel about we accept you no matter what anybody says about you.
Which you can see by the look on Darby's face. This is bullshit.
Yeah,
she's obviously been bullied, and I hate to use the pronoun she because I know they don't address it in the film, but you can tell that she's not comfortable being labeled she or he.
Yeah.
But it's cool because the character's very intelligent. And Darby has made it into this special program for NASA.
Yeah,
and
was real. And all of her friends are there, and all of her, you can see on her friends' faces, they all know it's bullshit.
Yeah, everyone's rolling their eyes
and
because
they're sticking with her. It's good show of camaraderie, and then it is
Katie.
Katie, yeah, Katie is also just roaming around the church because she's a I forget what they're called.
It was really odd because I don't know a lot about Pentecostal religion, but I was forced Catholic. So she is in a white robe and laying out pamphlets for the churchgoers, which I don't know what that role is. But while she's doing this, she's singing or saying these odd, rude things.
No. She's talking to somebody else who she believes is her friend.
Oh, as another altar person.
Yes, and she's talking to him, and she's like,
this person has the white robe too.
Yes, and she's going, you could do more to help, yada yada yada.
Because this person's standing oddly in the corner, not doing anything.
And then a projector flicks on, and it is a podcast, and the podcast is horrifically racist and
awful.
If I remember correctly, I believe it did have some.
Oh, it was also very homophobic.
Yes,
it was awful. She took religion and just crossed the boundary with it, and
it
was ripping everyone in the school a new one about being different.
Well, she also made a whole statement about how she and her race is better, superior,
yes.
And she's just going, it's just genetics.
So at this point, as an audience, we hate her already.
Oh, yeah, we're like, kill this bitch.
We're pretty much non-sympathetic to anything that happens to Katie at this point, because how could we be? And then to make it all worse, while she's hearing this, she's screaming at, not the oddly standing quietly still in the corner person, she's screaming at the projection going, that's not me. I would never say those things. People made that up. And it's like, really? That's your voice. That's you.
And she before that also, she calls who she believes is, or I'm sorry, she gets a call from who's supposedly other person in the church with her, saying that, hey, are you okay? I'm not going to be able to make it.
Right.
And
so then she realizes finally.
Well, she actually fights it for a second. She's like, what the hell are you talking about? You're right here. I was just talking to you. And he's like, no, I'm still at home. And then, or doing something. And then turns, sees this masked killer with her face, And the projector, does its whole deal, and
then the best
amazing.
Part, the killer emerges. She now knows this is somebody not supposed to be here. He emerges with a Scream-style long knife, which is beautiful, and a lot of great shots and a lot of great, kind of interesting tension, and she's calling out for help, and it's not happening, and she dies. And the best part is when the parishioners of the church get there, she's on this dramatic display, gutted, beautiful scene.
Oh, and the way she died, she did not die in the church floor. She was in a confession.
A confessional.
Confessional, yes, which
still confuses me about what religion that is, because if it's like, I thought Catechism was the only one that had confessionals, but I'm not sure.
Okay. But I just like that. I just like that she died in a confessional from not confessing for what she had done. It's a very nice way of doing it. And the way the killer kills her is he sticks the knife through the door and then pushes her into the knife from the other side.
Yeah, very cool.
At that point, that jogged our brain into thinking, well, maybe there's two, and there's one behind and one in front, but it didn't work out that way. But...
Which that's even cemented it for me a little more when McConaughey and Ollie have that conversation in the corn maze that, they're having this vague, I accept you, don't stray away from me, and there's even another we can do this or something type of conversation where you're like, are they talking about the relationship or are they talking about the killings? Like, and then I guess we should talk about Zach. Zach's a great pivotal character. He is an outsider with the group. However, he's popular by default because he's massively rich and hosts parties at his house.
Well,
for all the
his
kids.
Father owns I believe he owns
real estate or something. He's buying up all.
He's buying everything.
And then selling it to corporations. Buying up all the land, selling it to corporations. So he's been really bullied not only by other teenagers but by even adults in the community because his father is a terrible businessman.
His car gets tagged with spray paint.
And it's you see he's had it rough, You hate to say poor little rich kid, but it's like he did have it
His
tough.
father is rough on him when he gets into the car with his dad, and his dad kind of goes crazy on him, being like, you can't do anything that would make me look bad, not caring about what his son cares about.
Then they have this, Zach decides, okay, everyone's dying, everyone's being killed, let me throw another massive party while my dad's out of town.
A truth party.
It's a truth party. And the idea behind that was very simple. And I know I've seen this in another film, I just can't remember it, but they decide to come together and expose all your secrets at the party. Because if you expose your secrets, then what does the killer have to use against you?
Nothing.
Again, another setup to me that this may be McConaughey and Ollie, because they're at the party, they're talking to everyone, and they're going, oh, yeah.
Oh, well, they're separate because McConaughey still doesn't want to be seen with Ollie.
McConaughey never tells her friends about Ollie
and her
relationship. So their relationship is under lock and key. Again, another thing that she had said in the film was, I can't be seen with you. And I thought that was a kind of kickback to, we can't be seen, we don't know each other,
And people are constantly accusing Ollie throughout the film. And even when he's in the house.
And she doesn't do anything to defend him.
Yeah.
And another reason why you probably thought that was a setup to, let him do his thing, get set up. But anyway, Zach's going through having a moment because he's had a lot to drink, and he finally tells his friends, okay, we're going to smoke, we're going to have fun, let's do this. And he says, since we're revealing secrets, I'm going to reveal my father's biggest secret. And everyone's like, ooh. He opens this beautiful, huge double door, and it is a massive, eerie, cult collection of Nazi World War II paraphernalia.
And floor to wall, ceiling. It is
takes your breath away a little bit. You're like, oh my god.
And it's everything you can imagine.
So everyone is silent. The whole party goes silent because nobody can believe what they're seeing. Because they knew he was an asshole. They just didn't know how far this went. But Zach decides to kind of lighten the mood and tell everyone, well, when I saw this crap, I knew exactly what I had to do with it. And he pulls out these World War II items that he has made into bombs.
If I remember correctly, it was
a gas mask.
There were a couple guns, a gas mask, which the gas mask was really cool.
It was.
Because you would put it on and then it would
hit the bomb.
Yeah, and that was an interesting one. The guns were pretty interesting. I believe there was a stick grenade that was also a bomb. And it was a cool way, and everybody's they're loving this. They're like, woo, get to use all this World War II
and
shit.
But the eerie and weird part is everyone automatically forgets.
Yeah,
they're getting ready to
they
get
completely
drugs,
forget
so
about
cheering,
the Nazi shit.
And no one says anything about the room. Like, oh, that's messed up. Your dad has that, man.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, yeah, give us the bones. Let's go. And then, and so everyone's doing their thing.
So now everybody in the house is drunk, high, and probably on some other drugs.
And then our next character, Death,
before that, the main group starts to tell their secrets. And
oh, yes, to each other.
And as they're going, Makani does not spill her secret, but everybody else does, except for one character who was... Let's find his name. I believe he was...
Which one was it? Diego?
No, the one doing fentanyl.
Yeah, Diego.
Diego, okay.
So Diego refuses to expose his secret, but we've already seen throughout the film that he is not only in need, but almost in withdrawal at some point, so he's taking pills all throughout the day.
He also has, they've shown he has interest in a character named Alex, and she's kind of like playful with him in the first half of the movie, but then once
has a massive crush on him.
And that's her secret. Her one secret is she's actually a pretty nice, kind person who hasn't done much wrong, so her only secret was that she wasn't telling him that she liked him, and she confesses, and then he uses that instance to say, well, my biggest secret is I like you too. And then they go off to go make out in a
but it's all awkward.
Room.
He's acting awkward. And
you
don't know if he's acting awkward because he's not into her, but what it really is he's withdrawing from the pills and he needs to get another pill as soon as possible. And so he walks out of the bedroom and sees this plethora of pills littered all over like a little...
Which, people would be picking those shit up.
Well, he would have been. Even,
he was
walking around just kind of looking. I mean, as a real addict, he would have been down there scooping them up frantically. But, so he's following them, and then the lights go out, and, it's madness and mayhem, and...
Somebody screams, the killer's here!
Right, and the killer has a mask of Rodrigo, and so now he's killing Rodrigo. And... From there's some more dialogue, more discussions, and of course this leads to Zach planning another great big party. And Zach decides to do a corn maze find.
Before that, remember he attacks Makani.
Zach?
Yeah.
I don't remember that. Why did he attack Makani?
You don't remember him busting through her window? He put the photos of the...
But it wasn't him yet though, right? Wasn't.
No, it wasn't him. Okay, let's hang on. I'll cut that out. But
okay. Oh yeah, so before the corn maze, Makani has a close encounter attack where she wakes up. Her grandmother has gone to a doctor's kind of overnight treatment facility, so she's at home alone. When she wakes up, there's a fire roaring in the living room, and there's pictures of her and her old classmates from Hawaii all over the house. She escapes by fighting off this intruder who is wearing her face as a mask. And then she decides it's pivotal now. She has to find Ollie. She has to find her other friends. She has to figure out what's going on.
Well, at first she actually yells at him, it was Ollie. Ollie did it. Like, she just goes out.
Yeah, which is another reason we thought, oh my god, it's a duo.
She's pinning it on him because he maybe thought, we kept thinking, is he done with it, wants to kill her to stop it, and maybe he's going to do like a murder-suicide or some shit like that. No, the killer breaks in, almost kills her, she fights him off, and then... they go on this, little, like, hunt to figure out what's going on, and they realize, oh my god, everybody's at the corn maze, and...
real quick, just a correction. Skipper, there's a character, Skipper, he's the one that's holding this big corn maze fiasco.
Which is,
it's another party.
Who's the dad of, Zach.
Oh, yes. So, his father's holding this community thing to bring the community together because the community hates him, and... not knowing that all the teenagers in the community saw his collection.
Yeah.
But he doesn't really come into play
that nobody ever brings it up.
Yeah, nobody ever brings up that he might be the killer. Nobody brings up really who cares about him. Nobody. Which is fine. So they go to this corn maze. The whole football team piles into the corn maze. All of the teenagers, like from the senior class, are in the maze. McConaughey, Ollie, and her friends are in a car on their way to the corn maze. Zach is already there.
And at this point, it finally spills that McConaughey and Ollie are a thing, and everybody just kind of...
shrugs that off.
Yeah, they
like it's not a big deal.
Yeah, because they go, why is Ollie here? And then, like, McConaughey looks back, and they're like, seriously? Like...
And so, yeah, so if that was her secret, then that wasn't really that big a deal. But, it's fine. But yeah, so Zach's already at the corn maze. They're making their way there. Then you see the killer, and the killer has got a gas can, and he is pouring gas all around the corn maze with the intent to light it up. Now, at this point, they're really, really making it look like it's not McConaughey or Ollie because they're in the car on their way there. So then I start thinking, okay, maybe it's McConaughey and someone else and then of course we start thinking immediately Zach because we're like, well, Zach's there, although he's running around crazy too. They get there, the corn maze is up in flames, and in a very brave attempt, they take the car and just drive right into the corn maze. And this to help people find their way out. But what I didn't understand was how they didn't hit anybody.
Yeah,
because people are running around like chaos, and they're like just gunning, and they run there. They don't hit anyone.
There's fire everywhere, and it doesn't really do much
because people are like, oh, there's the way out, and they get out. So everyone's out except for Zach, Ollie, and McConaughey. They're in the middle of the maze, and it now comes out because it's Ollie and McConaughey and the killer with, I believe, Ollie's face on.
No, it's Skipper.
Skipper's face. Okay, Skipper's face on. And they're, battling it out with him for a while, and then they take the mask off, and it's the big reveal. It's their friend, Zach.
Well, before that, there is a really... Although I don't like the direction they went, I do find it fucking hilarious that the killer is sitting there, and Skipper's trying to plead, going like, I have money, well, what do you want? Why are you doing this? And
I forgot he killed his dad.
When Ollie and McConaughey walk up, the killer just kills Skipper, and then sighs and takes the mask off, and it's Zach. It's revealed to Zach, and he's pissed. And he's pissed because he's looking at McConaughey and Ollie going, I had this whole thing planned out. I was going to tell him this and this and this. And he's like...
He was basically essentially going to set up another student.
Yes, but the thing that I loved about it was he wasn't mad that they found out that he was the killer. He was mad that they stopped his little evil monologue to his father. He was like, I wanted the last thing he saw to be my face, to know I was the one that did it. And it's a funny, kind of interesting moment.
So yes, Zach reveals that his main plan was to frame McConaughey, because McConaughey did have the past record, because she was charged in a hazing event in Hawaii. She had joined a girls' softball team, and part of that hazing for the girls was pretty rough, but they would write all over their bodies, derogatory terms, yell at them, scream at them, force them to drink, take drugs. McConaughey, being in a very emotional state and drunk and high and not knowing, she accidentally pushes a friend of hers into a bonfire, and the girl's burned like over 50% of her body. She survives, but she's burned over 50%. Meaning McConaughey left because she did get charged and had that record, so she came to Middle America with her grandma to have a fresh start. And Zach, knowing this, thought she'd be a good scapegoat. She went crazy here. She wanted to burn everybody.
And he could also use Ollie, and he could say that he was the one that stopped the murders, and that would, good for him. That's his whole plan.
And then Zach goes into this weird dialogue rant where he's talking about the reason why he did all this. The reason why is because he's sick of being branded of white privilege. And it's a kind of a monologue that just didn't even need to happen.
Yeah, you're kind of just sitting there going, okay.
We're kind of rolling our eyes come on, you cry us a river. You had a bad dad, but everyone kind
Silver
of does.
spoon,
So,
keep going.
Okay. And so they have a fight. Eventually McConaughey is able to get the knife and kill him, and they're able to tell the police what happens, and everyone is good. We're good. So that was the end of the film. So here's what we thought. So I really think the film would have had a dynamite ending if it really had been McConaughey and Ollie. and that their paths would have never crossed really with the friends, and that they'd have kept the relationship on the down low. I believe Ollie's brother was a state trooper, so that would have been, he was let out, of certain situations. McConaughey has a dark past, and I'd like to think they found each other, and this was her kind of warped sense of what needed to be done, and he went with her. I didn't think it was necessary for Zach to be the killer. It just didn't really make that much sense.
I think it would have been way better to have it where, because everybody's already accusing Ollie of being the killer, so I think it would have been better to have maybe he doesn't want to be killing, but he loves McConaughey so much.
And he's going to do anything for her.
And that goes back to that cornfield scene where he's talking to her and he's going, I know you better than anybody, please don't, leave me, and, he's almost like he's dependent on her. And
a really healthy, enabling relationship.
Yeah, totally healthy. And she's just using him.
I will kill for you.
And then they could have maybe they could have even they could have still done her getting attacked in her home.
Yeah.
And maybe Ollie's trying to get out of it.
And that would have really even concreted why she thought that had been Ollie trying to attack her. Because she knew he and her were doing these things, and, But I just thought that the ending, again, with this one was just a little rushed. The whole film was fantastic. The actors were great upcoming young actors. And, not that I really recognize any of them out, but yeah, like Silent Storm said, some of the actors did such a great job delving into their roles. And even some of the adult actors. The lady that played Grandma was great.
They did a great job.
Ollie's brother, who's the police officer, did a good job. You had Skipper, who was a total jerk, but, even that kind of camaraderie between the teens worked. Everything worked. The gore factor in this was great. Everything was great until we get to the end, and the end is just kind of like it flops. It's
not bad per se, in any way.
It's not bad, and it's just a little disappointing.
Yeah, you can rationalize it and go, okay, I don't like his reasoning, but him wanting to kill his father, okay.
But why go through all of this?
Yeah, why
to kill
everybody else?
It seemed a little overkill, and it seemed unnecessary for Zach to be the killer. It seemed, but, again, taking a step back, maybe they didn't want to do the duo because maybe they felt like that would have been too big of a rip-off from Scream, and they would have been having other people like us sitting here picking apart the film and going, oh my god, they stole that from Scream. But I don't care about that, so I think it would have been just better if it had been the duo, because I like that.
I also just didn't really understand why, if it was Zach, he's a psychopath, but
a narcissist.
Yeah, and a narcissist. But it was kind of weird that it was okay, but you did literally kill. It's probably shown that he does not care about his friends, but I did just kind of go, you did kill one of your close friends, one of the only people that actually liked you, just because he was addicted to fentanyl. That was his crime, and you killed him over that.
That's what we were saying earlier. Some of the reasons were just so he was addicted to fentanyl, that's why he deserved to die. He had an addiction.
Now,
oh my god.
Even
McConaughey. McConaughey was forced alcohol and drugs in a hazing incident. She did not participate in the hazing. She was a new coming in, and yes, she was out of her mind and pushed her friend in the fire, which was negligent, but if that was her secret, it was an accident. It was not that she wanted to kill someone.
I do although I think the ending could have been better, I do like at the end, Ollie and McConaughey go to, I believe it's their prom, and they do have a nice shot of them together, and then they have
they do have a good montage at the end that everybody, Darby goes to her school with the NASA program. Alex, even though, Rodrigo was killed, she's moving on in a good direction. They did show that very positive. But being that this was a James Wan by association, I definitely see Netflix probably doing a follow-up to this one.
Most likely.
I don't know if it would be successful, but I do kind of feel like these films are on a bandwagon lately to be this was successful, let's do it again.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So. I mean, that's kind of like they did Happy Death Day, which was a good movie, and then they went, let's do another one. Yeah.
But overall, original 10 out of 10 for the original face mask of the victims. Very cool. Acting solid, beautiful actors and actresses, very diverse, very wonderful cast. Writers, producers, cinematography, special effects.
They did an amazing job, and James Wan, you're a fucking legend, and so is everybody. Like the writing team
did a good job,
props.
because remember, it was an adaptation from a novel. So they had to take a novel and condense it to a film, and that's never easy. So there may have been some missing pieces. You know, if we read the novel, which we probably will, there was probably some missing context and other pieces that would have filled in some of it for us, especially when it comes to Zach, you know, being the killer. But
yeah,
so,
I think that was basically it. It was a good film overall. I highly recommend it. It's a fun watch. It's like Scream. It's a fun watch. If you like Scream,
definitely.
you'll like this. And if you don't have a Netflix account, I mean, I wouldn't...
You can find it somewhere.
Probably. I wouldn't stress over it, but at the same time, it's like, if you have Netflix, just give it a watch. It's a pretty short film. It's nice.
All right, so we'll see you next time from the Upside Down.
Yep. See ya, fuckers.